Hello, good people of YouTube. Sealord here, and today we are going over my top 5 broken ships. Now, a broken ship in my mind is different from an overpowered ship. An overpowered ship is a ship that has several characteristics going for it that make it overtly strong against the enemy team, or they have one thing that's just majorly outright way too much and too easy to exploit. A broken ship is a ship that has one, maybe two characteristics about it that it's a bit much, but it's not oppressively overpowered, right? Like, you still have to know how to play a broken ship in order to get the most out of it. It's not like, let's say, a Thunder that is, in my opinion, one of the most OP ships in this game. You know, you got the 8 highly accurate 18-inch guns, the God tier HE, the God tier AP, the God tier concealment, and the 10-second rudder shift time all in one ship. That's crazy. But these ships have just one or two things that are a little bit broken for their tier, and that's what we're taking a look at today. Now, before we get into this video, we are doing a giveaway, not on this channel, but on the second channel, the Sealord IRL channel. If you subscribe to the channel from today through this week, you will be entered into a contest to win one of 2 premium ships from tier, well, 2 to tier 9 of your choosing. It works just like the giveaways do on this channel. There's only one video up there right now. If you don't know, the IRL channel is going to be kind of more of the real life videos, obviously by the name. I'm going to be going on quite a few trips to museum ships over the upcoming winter and summer holidays. So if you like to see stuff like that, that's what this channel is for. And just to help this channel get a nice little, growth spurt here at the start, we're going to do this giveaway. So there's only one video up on the channel right now. It's just some bloopers from some of the past IRL videos, so just head over to that channel, hit the subscribe button, and then comment on that video in the normal format, your username, your server, put a funny comment, and then make sure you're subscribed and you are entered into the giveaway. So from this Monday through next Monday, it will be open, and then we're going to have a bot choose 2 of the comments to win one of the premium ships each. Again, any premium ship tier 2 to tier 9 of your liking that's currently available for purchase in the online premium shop. Again, just like the giveaways go here on this channel. So that is that. So make sure you head on over to the second channel to enter into that giveaway. So anyway, on to the list at hand. Starting at number 5, we have the tier 8 premium Soviet battleship, the Lenin. The Lenin is the result of a Nelson and a Vladivostok having one too many drinks at the bar, and 9 months later, we get Lenin. And man, this ship is, there's a reason this ship was pulled from the shop. It's so freaking good. You get the Soviet 16-inch guns with all of the Soviet goodness, right? But you get the turret layout of the Nelson. And what that does is it allows you to stay very steeply angled to the enemy ships, and you can still get 9 guns on target. Versus where the Vladivostok, where yes, you can angle and get that third turret on target, but because of, well, quite frankly, the sheer size of the Vladivostok, a lot of cases, especially with, well, how tier 8 goes nowadays, you're facing guns that are quite large. We've had quite a few more 18-inch guns get added into the game since the Soviet battleship line was introduced, so you're playing a little bit more risky getting that third turret in the fight with the Vladivostok, because the Soviet ships, as tanky as they are, their sides are quite weak. So if you catch their side and you combine to their side armor, you're going to ruin the Soviet ship's day. And while the Lenin does very much still have that weakness as well, with the turret layout, you can be a little cheeky and get that third turret on target quite a bit more often than you can with the Soyuz. Not to mention as well, the Lenin is a ship that's pretty darn fast. That really caught me off guard when I first got the Lenin, because, I've had the Nelson, and you Nelson players know, Nelson's not that fast, but the Lenin's got some get up and go to it as well. So not only do you have a ship where you can get all 9 guns on target much more often than you normally can, it's pretty maneuverable as well. And while it does have weaker AA, which, I mean, weak AA isn't exactly a rare thing nowadays, right? you have the maneuverability to really make the CV work to try and get those those torpedoes and those bombs and those rockets on your ship. And because of how good the Lenin is, and because of the turret layout and the fact that you have the 16-inch guns at, again, Tier 8, it's a very, very popular ship for Tier 8 rank, for Tier 8 clan battles. Tier 8 clan battle season, man, the Lenin was freaking everywhere, and that should really tell you all you need to know about this ship. But yes, what makes it broken is the turret layout combined with the Soviet 16-inch guns, which again, we have the Vladivostok that do have those guns at this tier, but they're not in this layout. So the configuration with the Soviet 16-inch guns, that's what makes the Lenin quite the broken Tier 8 premium battleship, which again, she's been removed from sale, but if they for some reason put this in like the next Black Friday event, you can get a Lenin B 100%. She's absolutely worth the asking price if they ever sell her outright again, which they probably won't because, well, again, there's a reason for that. Alright, going down to number 4, we have the Tier 5 Japanese destroyer, the Kamikaze. The Kamikaze is kind of like the Jaeger before it was cool, in that they both are incredibly stealthy for their tier, and the Kamikaze has a 45-ish second torpedo reload time, which means you can get your torpedo tubes out in under a minute stock, right? And then, of course, you can build to it a little bit with the destroyer commander skills, and of course, if you have, man, Yamato and Kamikaze is wow. It's quite the combo, because you get that boost to the reload time once you get 5 kills and you get Kraken Unleashed, like we were talking about in yesterday's replay video with the I-56. But with the Kamikaze, it's not that hard to do, because Tier 5, this thing's like the Seal Clubber's dream, right? Tier 5, most of those players are, newer players are learning the game. They're getting to their first real grind. Tier 5 is that first tier where you really have to, sit down and get to grinding, right? So they're still learning the game, and you're here in this destroyer where you can get 5.5 is its concealment, so you can get 5.6 kilometers away from them with a destroyer that has a 45-second reload on its torpedoes, and just have your way with them. And because they're newer players, they may not know, but hell, old players fall for this too, right? They suddenly have a whole rack of Kamikaze torpedoes coming at them, right? And it's just crazy what you can do with this ship nowadays. On top of that too, it is Tier 5, right? And Tier 5, with the way that things have gone, there are less players playing down that low. So it gets filled with bots now. So you can go abuse bots, get your Kraken Unleashed, get the buff to your reload time, and now you have like a frickin' 29, 28, 27 second torpedo reload time on the Kamikaze R, which is frickin' insane. On the Kamikaze or the Kamikaze R if you have either of these two ships. But yeah, Kamikaze, Seal Clubber's dream, a ship that if you do pick one up, because I believe she's only available in super containers, and I think she's still in this year's Santa containers, don't quote me on that. But if you do find yourself getting this ship, you have quite the busted ship thanks to that concealment and that torpedo reload speed. Going down to number 3 is a ship I don't think many will argue is not broken or busted, and that is the Gato, everyone's favorite Tier 10 American submarine. Man, the Gato. So, the Gato is still the king of shotgunning. They haven't really messed with the ship itself too much, and what makes the ship busted is really that you have essentially a gearing in the front of your ship, and you don't have, well, this part really isn't like a thing that's unique to the Gato. It's the mechanic where you can still rock and roll at frickin' periscope depth at 30-something knots, right? You can still go full speed at periscope depth, which I think is ridiculous, right? Because the whole reason submarines are slower underwater is because of the hydrodynamics of the hull. If you look at every single submarine in the game, with the exception of the U-4501 and the U-2501, they are designed as ships, right? They have a bow that looks like a ship. They're designed to run at the surface for most of their time at sea, and then for brief moments they can submerge underwater. And of course, underwater is different than when you're sailing on top of the water, so the hulls have to be configured different if you want the ship to move fast underwater. Hence why submarines nowadays are all, tubes, essentially, because they operate primarily underwater because nuclear propulsion. But anyway, the Gato and all the other submarines shouldn't get a, comfort zone where for some reason they can still rock and roll at full speed, because then you get situations like the Gato, where you give a ship a full rack of gearing torpedoes at the front, and now you can just walk up to enemy ships from 2 kilometers away and, again, throw a whole rack of gearing torpedoes into their side, and that's kind of dumb. So, yeah. Again, not a really unique thing to the Gato, but she's definitely the best one for the whole shotgunning strategy. You have the long underwater time on top of that as well, to where you can just submerge and skedaddle away. You can completely blow someone out of the water with the Gato, and they'll never know that you were there. So, yeah, as much as I commend submarine players that aren't afraid to get close to the enemy ships to do the shotgun maneuver, when you release a ship like the Gato that's just so well suited for it with its setup, that's just a little bit much. And yeah, I mean, submarines, still, there's a whole lot that needs to be worked on there, but if they would just at least decrease the speed from like 100% speed to like 70% speed, where they can go like 25 knots, to where, again, the Gato can't run down a good chunk of tier 10 battleships while at periscope depth. I think that would be more appropriate and a pretty easy fix for the Gato, but again, pretty busted ship at the moment. And going on down to number 2, we have the one, the only, the Colossus, the tier 8 British CV, premium CV. The Colossus is just, it's a one-trick pony, but when that one trick is the ability to simply remove tier 9 and tier 10 cruisers with one run of your rocket planes, that's one hell of a trick. Now, into the ship's, credit or fairness to it, besides that, it's an absolutely mediocre CV. Like, the ship itself, you sneeze on it, it's going to blow up. It literally doesn't have armor. So even if you're, like, a destroyer with the most anemic AP guns, you can murder the Colossus if you catch it. It's slow. Its AA makes the Italian, its AA look strong. Doesn't have any secondaries as well, so you can literally walk up to it in any ship and just remove it from the map if you do catch it, which it's not hard to do. Again, it only goes 20 knots. But God almighty help you if you slip up and you show the Colossus your broadside, even if you aren't in a cruiser. You might have seen the clip of me removing a Seattle tier 9 American light cruiser circulate around the Warship sphere when the Colossus came out. This Seattle is not paying attention at all. Let's see what happens here, ladies and gents. Oh my god! Oh my god! That wasn't just the one time I did that. I mean, like, shoot, when we played it on live stream, I think I absolutely nuked like 5 cruisers in one run, and that's me. I suck at playing CVs, right? You get this in the hands of an actual CV player, and they can do some real damage. So, yeah. Now, again, the torpedo squadrons, the bomb squadrons are pretty mediocre, and this is pretty much all the ship really has going for it. And the planes do have the HE rockets run up. It doesn't have the AP rockets run up that all the other AP rockets do, like the Aquila and the German CVs, how they have the really short little machine gun burst, and then they fire the rockets. It has like a 4 or 5 second run up. So just know, if those planes have Colossus above their health bar, you need to be smashing that D key, because it's going to be quite a bad time if you don't, or you're just going to go right back to port. So absolutely busted mechanic on the Colossus there. And heading on down to number 1, the tier 9 Japanese gunboat destroyer, the Kitakaze. The Kitakaze. This is a ship that I am absolutely surprised has escaped getting a nerf. This ship is tier for tier better than the Harugumo. Her rate of fire is quite monstrous, and that's, well, that's that. The Kitakaze is just an insane little machine gun. Tier 9 clan battles, you put this on a side where you don't want the enemy ships to be able to push up without losing most of their HP, pop smoke, get some spotting going for it. Whatever's pushing into it probably isn't going to make it to the hydro range of its hydro, or it's definitely not going to make it into assured detection range for sure. This thing's just a machine gun. And in the past, the Harugumo line's been out for 4 years? Yeah, probably like 4, at least maybe 5 years? I don't know. Time's just a blur, right? And a human invention, right? Time's not a natural thing. But anyway, the Kitakaze has been nerfed exactly one time. They increased her reload by 0.1 seconds. And apparently that was enough for them, because they haven't touched it since then, and it's still better than the Harugumo tier for tier. So, yeah, and keep in mind, too, this is a Japanese destroyer, right? So you get the good Japanese HE with the good fire chance with the insane fire rate of the Kitakaze. You get the torpedoes as well with the torpedo reload booster, so if you don't melt them down with your primary guns, they're probably popped God knows how many damage cons, especially if they're trying to push into you. Then you throw 2 racks of torpedoes in their face in 5 seconds, and yeah, that sucks, right? So it's a pain to deal with. It's just an insane machine gun. Oh, and the AP. The AP is not that bad either. You can Citadel light cruisers with the AP of the Kitakaze, and just remind them that you're the real light cruiser and not them, because you don't have a Citadel. If they try to AP you back, they might chunk you for a bit, but that's cool. You know, you've probably Citadeled them 15 times by the time they fire their guns once. You know that's how nutty the Kitakaze is. And yeah, I'm gonna be playing it a lot because we gotta regrind the Harugumo line for the funny boat, right? God, Kitakami. Yeah, well, at least I got this one to look forward to in the line. But anyway, guys, those are my top 5 broken ships. Let me know in the comments down below. Again, what ship would you add to this list? What ship do you think has 1, maybe 2 characteristics that are a little bit too much for it? Let me know all that good stuff down below. Remember to go enter into the giveaway on the Sealord IRL channel. Link to that will also be in the description and in a pinned comment down below. Hope you guys have a wonderful Monday, wonderful rest of your week. A happy Thanksgiving week to you Americans, or anyone that celebrates Thanksgiving out there. Hope you guys enjoyed. Have a wonderful week. Hope to catch you guys in the next one.